Greetings, Mr. Pipeterian. On behalf of the Church of the Busted Briar, I would like to say congratulations on your 100 sub giveaway. I would also like to say thank you for extending this out for a little longer. My life has been particularly hectic, and I knew I had missed the deadline, but when I saw your update, I knew I had one more chance, so here it is. Thanks for challenging us to get a little bit out of our comfort zones. I tried like heck, man. Yesterday, I went out to a rural church, very beautiful location. See, look, there I am. And the wind was blowing quite heavily. So I thought I would be very clever and put the tripod in the car and still be able to record the video. Well, the video I got, the audio not so much. So after fiddling with the audio last night for a while, I determined it just wasn't going to work. So here I am going to say much of the same things that I said yesterday, but we'll do it live in front of my philosophy and religion shelf right up here in my own library. And now on to the much larger question at hand, which you had asked, how are the YTPC and pipe clubs similar to church? And I have a lot of feelings on this, had to pare it down some, and I'll try to keep this within the rough time frame that you were requesting, but I may traverse just a bit longer than that. But, you know, it used to be that the practice of religion, at least as in terms of a Christian sense, was much more widely accepted and, you know, openly talked about, I believe, as a much larger percentage of people went to church on a weekly basis and practiced their faith. It was just part of life, as was tobaccos of various form. You know, there was a period there where I believe it was close to 70% of adults smoked one form of tobacco or another. And as times have changed, you know, those things keep getting pushed further and further into the background as they are deemed not socially acceptable and or not healthy. I think the case could be made for both. But the freedom of us, of individuals, to kind of choose our own path is kind of being taken away from us. And that's why we retreat to these safe spaces. One of the things that I had mentioned in a previous video of mine was the homogenization of our culture, where it's important for everybody to each have their own unique opinion, as long as we all agree with one another. And, you know, again, those of us who smoke a pipe, we are outside of that mainstream culture, so we have to find places where we can contact other people like ourselves who also enjoy the hobby. Similar again to religion, who has, you know, Bible studies and choirs and things that go on within those church walls rather than outside of them. And you know, if you look at just the organizational structure of a church, you have your priest or your minister, your reverend, whatever your vernacular may be, who is kind of the church leader and stands in front of the church and tells, you know, professes his faith and interprets the scripture for the people in the congregation. Well, you could very easily look at those of us who produce content for the YTPC, similar to a minister or a deacon or whatever, in that we get up and we tell about our experiences, and we talk in front of the camera to anyone who will listen. It's out there publicly, which is really striking to me, but, you know, so we are preachers of sorts in what we do. But in addition, you know, you also have those in the gallery, in the congregation, who regularly comment, who have subscribed to our channels, who not necessarily producing their own content, some of them do, some of them don't, but they are out there speaking on a regular basis in support or sometimes in dissent, but, you know, doing it in such a way as to be part of a larger community. And beyond that, you just have a congregation, so to speak, a gallery of folks who just like to watch the content but don't necessarily feel the need to comment on things or don't produce their own content. But it takes all of those components meshed together in order to produce a thriving church, a thriving club, a thriving, YTPC that's constantly introducing new people to the hobby, but also introducing new knowledge, new interpretation to the group as a whole, to keep it from getting stale and boring, and just to keep it alive, period. So those are just from an organizational standpoint, that's what I see. But finally, I would point out that I believe the community, the fellowship aspect of the Pipe Club and the YTPC are what I have most come to appreciate and admire. And that's something that I didn't necessarily expect when I got into making my own videos. I didn't realize that I would actually get to know people through this process, and people that I would very much like to sit down and enjoy a pipe with someday. And hopefully you would entertain the thought of me stopping by were I ever in the in the California area. But that said, oftentimes, as again it relates to a church, when you start out in a new congregation, you're uncertain of a lot of things. What are the people like? It's like trying anything new. But very quickly, you start to discover that the people are there for much the same reason that you are. So it becomes so much easier to make those inroads and to make friends. And that's exactly what I've done. Again, something I don't think I particularly expected to do. And these are people from all different walks of life. People that I'm sure I disagree with vastly on politics in a great many situations. But one of the things that the church does, that the Pipe Club does, is transcends those standard typical political boundaries, those workplace boundaries, and takes it to a much simpler place in terms of belief systems. And what we do is we enjoy smoking pipes. We like talking about pipe tobaccos and different styles of pipes. We enjoy the finer artistry of the entire experience, much the way somebody who regularly goes to church understands Scripture. There may be differences in interpretation, but at the end of the day, the person sitting next to you believes mostly the same things that you do if you are in that church environment. So those are my thoughts on the matter. Again, I want to thank you for extending this out. I've been marinating on this for several weeks. It just got away from me, and work and stuff. Not a lot of fun. But before I wrap it up, smoking a little Cornell and Deal Professor, appropriately so for my lecture today, in my Dr. Grabo Grand Duke. But I want to wish you continued success and good luck reaching that 1,000 subscriber mark. Really enjoy your videos, the locations, the way you deliver your experiences and the things going on around you. It's been an absolute treat. But with that, I am going to sign off. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and we'll talk to you again soon.